Good morning, guys. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It is Thursday, November 17th, guys, and you're here with me, Azam, your fave. Jade is out today, handling mommy duties, so sending her all the good vibes that she needs today, all the energy that she needs. That's so definitely a demanding task, a demanding job. So big up to Jade. Big up to all the mommies out there too, and all the people who have better temperaments than me that have to deal with the nation's children. All the speaking specifically to the young ones, the ones that are in daycare, the ones that are in preschool. Yeah, so big up all the daycare workers and all the preschool teachers this morning. I know y'all will go home and watch Island Tea afterwards, because y'all tell me. I have this one particular friend. She messages me about the show at like 4:30, because that's when she starts to listen when she gets off of school. So she pretends like as if it's live. But but yeah, I appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the people that take time to make Island Tea a staple of the day. Trust me, we really appreciate it. And yeah, it wouldn't really be making sense for us to be doing this without your support. And so you're a big part of what is happening here. And yeah, we appreciate it. I am just looking through what is happening, and I actually got a notice this morning. So let me read out the notice before we get on to anything else. This has to do with the traffic, and it says motorists are hereby informed that the portion of the Kim Collins Highway between the airport roundabout and the Sugars building will be closed to vehicular traffic from 7 a.m. to around midday on Thursday, 17th November. This closure is to facilitate the repair work to a damaged underground pipe by the water department. Motorists traveling from Bird Rock direction will be diverted through Needsmust Estate via the dirt road adjacent to the Sugars building. Signs will be posted to indicate this closure. The full cooperation of all is solicited. It says this seems to be coming from the licensing authority. So those of you who use the Kim Collins Highway to go to and fro, bear in mind that the portion between the airport roundabout and the Sugars building, that's that building just behind Michael's Burgers there, is closed, but there's a detour. You could take a little skip through Needsmust Estate to get around that, or plan your route to avoid that area altogether. All right, so thanks for the update, guys. I'm sure some of y'all already recognize that that's gonna be the case. Let's see. Okay. So I'm looking around. I'm seeing all sorts of things happening for Christmas. Not only just carnival events. Things are happening. I'm walking through the supermarkets. I'm hearing Christmas music. I'm seeing Christmas decorations. We officially in Christmas season. When does Christmas season start for y'all? Christmas season starts once we get to November, mid-November. Once Black Friday is done, like how y'all like when is it? I want to know when Christmas starts. Is it December morning? Is it Christmas Eve? When does Christmas start for y'all? But I'm recognizing as I walk around, some of the business places already have their Christmas decorations going up. I'm hearing Christmas music on the radio. So yeah, Christmas is pretty much here, guys. Oh, somebody's saying after Thanksgiving. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. The next thing to look forward to is probably Christmas. So I do understand that. What would be the equivalent of Thanksgiving here in the Federation? You don't have anything, right? Maybe we need to make up one. Maybe we need to make up a Thanksgiving. Somebody saying Christmas starts in October. But yeah, today's Thursday, guys, and if you have gears to grind, I'd appreciate if you take time to give me a call and get it off your chest. You can't hold in things. We have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Morning. Good morning, early. Bless up, Azim.
Yeah, man. Blessings.
Yeah. This burger is straight off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Christmas feeling for me, right? As the question come up, it didn't that one talk about. I will lay now and speak about after. Is after what the thing name again the other day? Guy Fox?
Oh, after Guy Fox.
Yeah, that was with Christmas. The Christmas used to start small. Me and about now. But after when Guy Fox, we have a big jump. That when I was live Magnet and we jump from like the village. Because the village also had the masquerade.
Right.
So we jump from village with the Popeye stem with the little light.
The kerosene.
We didn't have a lot of bombs and them things. We couldn't, the people couldn't afford it. So we have the Popeye stem with the kerosene oil. And we light it on top. And we go with the big jump from village straight to town and come back masquerade. Yeah, and from after that, we have the Christmas cleaning out. Get the place set up with a little Christmas tree. And the Christmas tree never used to be what we used to buy. We used to go out there and cut down tree, put it in bucket with sand, and make the Christmas tree. Yeah, that how the Christmas feelings come forth in them days. Yeah. And I don't know about now, but them on my time.
Yeah, and the thing is, I remember most of my Guy Fox nights spent in Magneto down by the cenotaph. But
yeah,
no, it's true. Now that you're saying it, right after Guy Fox is when you'd start to hear the masquerades them coming through.
Yeah, you get the real Christmas season, you know.
Yeah, straight down Fort Thomas Road.
Things start to clean out. And remember them cheap, them hard tree. I don't remember the name.
Some trees, you said.
One of them down on the Bay Road right now, by the bus stop, way down on the Bay Road close to Senator.
Mm-hmm.
Them kind of tree we also cut down for the Christmas tree too.
Oh.
I don't know what the name. They're hard. The long time tree.
I know what you mean. And just drop it in a bucket with some sand. Put a couple stone in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's... go ahead.
What I really want to talk about now, right? I see a thing on the news on YouTube with this dark. I'm a black lady, black girl, 25 years. I think she named Shanquila or whatever.
Shaquana or something like that. Yeah.
Shaquana, yeah. Went Mexico with she friends.
Yeah.
She friends end up made it back to Charlotte. North Carolina.
Yeah.
And she make it back. Which in the mother and the father now saying they ain't taking it like that because she get a call and say she not feeling good. They're about to call the doctor. And then before they hang up, they tell the mother she get poisoning from drinking alcohol or something like that. So I think they love themselves. And also, like people WhatsApp and say reading, they say she friend maybe watch her get beat up to death. And when the autopsy come back, ain't nothing to say she get poisoned from the alcohol. She get beaten to death. And she left with her best friends. So it's like, in saying it, why best friend have to take it to the extreme to kill another best friend, to kill a friend?
Some people don't know what friend mean. I think that's maybe the bigger thing. You can some people may claim to be a friend, but are they really?
That's why they coming to the conclusion, to the end now. If they really your friends. Because you still can't go in a man's heart or man's mind to know what he's thinking of you, you know. He will pretend to be a friend, or she will pretend to be a friend. And I think they're going on like around the world, especially in black people, and he coming on our shows, which he done already on our shows. Because you see what I'm the other day with the two girls.
What two girls are?
I just said, remember, he had a girl in jail right now.
Oh, yeah.
And one then they said they was good friend.
Yeah.
So it's frightening because I don't really want it more established in not even in the world, but in these parts right now.
Right.
We tired of seeing friends kill friends. As you know, from long time within the war, like whether say the war with the youth, them and now with peace.
Yeah.
So we don't want that develop again, and I see a change in that there. And I don't really want it develop. So I speak into the youth, them could hear me. If you know, I don't even know what to say, but I can say, if you know you don't want that person to be a friend, don't pretend, don't go around. Just leave the person.
Take care of yourself.
Even though you hate him, within your heart, how the person living, because people hate you for different stuff, eh? People hate you for what you're doing, people hate you for what you got, people hate you for who you be, and you ain't gonna know that person they hate you, but they're pretending to be a friend, just to kill you. And you see how far they went from North Carolina to Mexico, and now got the girlfriends and family grieving.
That story there just seems so out there to me. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that we had planned to kind of discuss today.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's something that I've been seeing across, and I think what happened is that it resonates with so much of us because so much of us have people that we consider friends, and it's like you can't even imagine that this is something that a friend would be capable of. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, taking your life because in my heart I will get jealousy, grudgery. You know?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're taking up somebody's life because you hate what they're doing, or you hate how they look. Wow.
Yeah.
That one they touch me, even though me know who the lady is. But, you know, we are one still, no matter where you put it.
Yeah, I tell you, it resonate with everybody because everybody have a friend, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that one put people in mind now to like work out. And one day I should go with this person, or one day if I should trust this person. So,
yeah.
me mind because you got to know who you're going out with, and you got to know who your children them going out with also. Because it ain't easy when you send out your son or your daughter, and then reach back home and when you check it out, it's different, have a part to do with the killing or the disappearing.
You know something, Burgers? You know when we were younger, and your parents say, "Who you going with?" And they say, "Well, who their parents be? Why you know about them?" And you start to ask yourself, "But why they asking all these questions?" You start to feel like they just want to fight you down. Like they want you to go out, they want you to got your friend, them thing there. It's only now I recognize what all that was for you.
Yeah, that's true. You got to know, even up to now, when my son them were here and the big one going out, I want to know who he going with and where he going still.
Yeah.
Because I need him to come back home.
Hey, and people don't recognize, sometimes you feel as though that one little task getting harder and harder to achieve. Just to make it back home.
Right now, because your friend will, your daughter or your friend will tell you, I'm going with this person. But you check it out, it's with some other person here. So you still got to analyze them. Not really running them down still, but, make a phone call here and there now and again to see where they be still.
Yeah. You got to do your checks.
Yeah, you got to do your check, But anyway, I'm with somebody else to do and give thanks,
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, man, all the best on the Thursdays again.
I appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Blessed. Yeah, all right.
So, the issue that the caller raised just now, that's the situation with Shanquila Robinson. One of the things I recognize is because I don't frequent social media too much. When things start to come across my when things come to my attention, it generally is a big thing. And I realize like this situation is big, and I keep asking, why? And I think it's because all of us really do have a friend. We all have somebody that so it resonates with us. But we have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're live on LNT.
Yeah, good morning. The tree that the guy was speaking about there is a Sanway tree. They call it a Sanway tree.
A Sanway tree?
Sanway, that's what we call it here locally. Sanway. We used to have them all over the place. We used to cut them off to make Christmas tree.
Okay.
During the Christmas time. Sanway tree. he probably wouldn't know the name because he sounded like he from way back when, like me, you know. Sandwich, yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate that.
Okay,
I had no idea. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Sandwich.
Yeah, you live and you learn, boy. Never too old to learn. Somebody is saying that the friends are online giving interviews as if they ain't the ones responsible. Wow, this story. Up to last night, I remember I went to Nevis last night. Big up Nevis one time, and I was sitting there, and I was asking my friend, "Hey, what going on with this situation with this young lady who lost her life?" And the man just said, like, I don't even understand what all going on. It's like every day there's some new development. Every few hours you're just seeing something else that makes it seem even stranger. But I don't even want to imagine the grief. I don't even want to imagine the grief that this young lady's parents are so feeling. Last night, and sometimes the universe does put things in a way to bring stuff to your attention. I was watching on social media, and a young lady from here, she was giving out some life advice to younger women. I suspect she might have, just been thinking about her life, things that she went through, things that she experienced, things that she's observed, and decided to just make a little post. And one of the things that she said was, young women, you need to save your money, travel around the world and things like that. And this is coming on the heels of me literally just asking a friend of mine what happened to this young lady. Right? And it's scary. It's scary. As a matter of fact, since we're on it, perhaps we should just kind of jump into that. Usually we start locally, but this is obviously something that is on the minds of a lot of us. So we'll jump and kind of just give a little background about that, and then we could move forward. So the article that I'm actually reading, the headline is, "What happened to Shanquila Robinson in Mexico? Death certificate shows injuries, no signs of alcohol poisoning in North Carolina woman's death." A video of a brawl surrounding the mysterious death of a black woman has led to a movement to uncover the truth about what happened to Shanquila Robinson in Mexico. Salomondra Robinson took to the public for answers after she received conflicting reports about what led to her daughter's death at a villa more than 2,500 miles in Cabo, Mexico. Wow. Robinson's parents have contacted the FBI and Mexican authorities and paid to bring her body back to the U.S. Wow. Mexican authorities said that they don't suspect foul play, but the 25-year-old woman's family believes she was murdered. "I probably won't be at ease until someone's arrested," her mother said. Shanquila Robinson left Charlotte, North Carolina, for Mexico on Friday, October 28th, to celebrate one of her friend's birthdays for the weekend. Her family says she was dead within 24 hours. Wow. Shortly after arriving in Cabo on Friday, Shanquila called her mother and told her she's enjoying a meal prepared by a private chef in Villa Linda 32. Her mother receives a frantic call from Robinson's friends saying that she is unconscious and had alcohol poisoning. Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories, the mother said. She said they didn't call us until the very last minute. Records obtained by WJZY said there were 7 guests staying in the villa. Shanquila's friends returned to the U.S. and left her body in Mexico. What are you really saying by it? What? Her family spent $6,000 to ship her remains back to Charlotte. U.S. Department of State officials in Mexico are not commenting on the allegations of foul play. "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time. That was the comment by the U.S. State Department. Shanquila's remains arrived in Charlotte on November 10th, and her family also received a death certificate. The woman's cause of death is listed as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which means dislocation of the spine in the neck. There is no mention of alcohol poisoning. The certificate says Shanquila was found unconscious in her living room. Her mother said she was told her body was discovered by a maid. Wow. However, a representative of CaboVillas.com told reporters the group in the villa called the concierge, who called a doctor to help. On Saturday afternoon, the doctor gave Shanquila CPR. She was pronounced dead at 3 p.m., about 15 minutes after her spinal injury. WJZY reports the officials typed yes in a death certificate section asking, was it accidental or violent? Wow. However, it's unclear which option they meant to select. Let me tell you something, right? I don't know if the intention was to kill this young lady. I don't know. But the reason why people are even more upset now is because there's been a video surfaced. And let me speak a bit about the video. A video of a naked Shanquila surfaced online Tuesday. At least 2 people stood by and recorded on their cell phones. You see, we're going back to this again. As another punched Shanquila more than 24 times in the face, neck, and back. At least fight back something, a man in the background says. The woman kicks her in the head at least once and tosses her on the ground, the video shows. Get up, bro, get up, the woman says as Shanquila sits on the floor holding down her head. Wow. Wow. Now, I don't know what would have caused the fight. I don't know what could have possibly transpired. I don't know. But you can't blame people for seeing this level of violence being executed on this young lady after hearing that the young lady has passed and and her death being explained through some types of physical trauma to the back, her spine and her neck. And you see this video, it isn't a far jump to suspect that perhaps this incident had something to do with this young lady's death. And I think, again, the reason why this is getting so much attention, apart from just the efforts of the parents, is the fact that this is supposed to be your friend. They're supposed to be the people who you trust enough to leave the comfort of your home, travel across borders to have a good time. And here it is, we're seeing a video of these same people standing by where you get pummeled and doing the pummeling themselves. We have a call on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Yeah, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, man. That guy 2 callers ago, the conversation he started having is interesting, man, because, a lot of people getting killed and, dying simply and because of some mysterious, causes and stuff. We gotta promote some more self-love, man. We gotta promote some more self-love. Different than that, man. Me personally, I want to send out some condolences to a lady there in Virginia Beach. She lost a daughter out in Mexico, and The reason why I called is, once I heard that guy said something about someone died and they was from North Carolina. I'm right here in the state of North Carolina, so I wanted to actually call him once I heard that, and I'm sending the condolences to that person's family. But mysteriously, I have a friend that lost a daughter out in Mexico in an Airbnb, and I'm putting out a clarion call to anyone traveling to Mexico to be careful. Once going there, to stay in those Airbnbs, because I did some research myself, and I realized that a lot of people has been dying out there in Mexico in those Airbnbs. There's a lot of articles that I've seen online concerning that over the last few years. There's an article in the New York Post or something, I think, but, I could have sent that off to you. But, I'm just sending the condolences out to the parents of Candace Florence there in Virginia Beach, because her mom is a close friend of mine, and we lost Candace and 2 other male friends in Mexico. They traveled to Mexico, I think at the end of October there, to celebrate the Day of the Dead. And you know how these evil celebrations are, man. Somewhere along the line, there are going to be some sacrifices, but their death just seems so mysterious. They died in an Airbnb there, so I'm just want to put that warning out to anyone even from St. Kitts and Nevis who's planning to travel to Mexico, to be careful when they go out there. And different than that, I want to wish my father a happy belated birthday, Mr. Vilma Jones from Cotton Ground. He's living here in North Carolina with myself. But I want to wish Mr. Jones, Vilma Jones, my dad, 95 years old, a few days ago on November 15th. And I want that, happy birthday to him, coming from all his friends and family and everyone in the village there in Cotton Ground and Nevis who's wondering about him. I just want them to know he's alive and kicking, and he's doing very well. And, I want to thank the Lord for sparing his life and letting him see 95. And right. I wish that he see many more. All
right, man.
All right, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot, man.
All right, appreciate it. But yeah, guys, I think we're gonna have to do a couple of things, right? Of course, when we're moving around, we're gonna have to be careful, of course, about where we're going and who we're going with. But more importantly, I think we're gonna have to re-examine even the term friendship and what it has come to mean. This is something that we've discussed before, and it's something that I've seen and heard discussed on several different platforms. The way that the term friend has been hijacked and used, and it muddies the definition, and so that has real world consequences, right? And I've seen it happen with people in my life where they call people friend, and then when you ask them what they know about these people, is like whether there's comment on my stories. Every time I posted a comment on my stories, and all of a sudden this person is now your friend. I've had situations where I've had people close to me gone out partying, find them in some place that generally you would not expect them to be. And when you ask them, hey, what's going on? What are you doing here? They say, oh, come up with such and such. Like, oh, who that? Oh, that's my friend. Okay, where this friend come from? Oh, well, she does be liking up my stories and my pictures on Instagram. And we started talking, and now I out here with her and her friends at some place that on the general circumstances, on any other circumstances, you would not have seen me. Like, that has happened to me on several occasions with people that it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating because you don't know nothing about this person, these people. You're being put into situations that are not situations that you would have placed yourself given the choice. And we know how that goes with peer pressure. We know how that goes with getting involved in things that you generally might not have gotten involved in. And the truth is, you might be the odd one out. So if things go south, well, it's easy to... you last come, you first to go. I've seen this happen multiple times. Like, even me talking to y'all about it now, getting me... like, I'm feeling the emotions I was feeling in the moment. And so we're going to have to be very careful about who we allow into our lives and the roles that they play and the influence that they have. Because all friend ain't friend. But we take this last call on this topic. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up? Lost that caller. But yeah, all friend ain't friend, boy. And some of y'all out here calling people friends based on social media interactions, based on the fact that you feel you can get something from them, whether it is popularity, attention, notoriety, in some cases even material things. The many things friendship built on. I think we're gonna need to really stop and examine this term and the access and rights that we give people who we choose to call friends. Good morning, caller 11 Island T. What's up?
Good morning, Hazel.
Morning.
Yes, man, blessing. Thanks for the opportunity to vent, you know. But before I get into what I really call about, let me just briefly touch on what you've been discussing about that missing lady. Hold on there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, turn on your radio.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, man.
No, what I'm saying is that incident with the lady got beaten in the midst of a friend. I don't know why people going around the bush and pretending, I mean, the signs are there. It seems to me like I say, you have all the trappings of some sort of initiation. And that is why she wasn't fighting back. And that is why the friends stood there and look at it. I am not too familiar with the actual case, but just listening to these little, bits and pieces, it sounds to me like that. And so we need to just call it for what it is and warn people about this, wanting to be in this group and wanting to be part of this and that, where you don't even understand. And so they take all kind of punch. That is not the first case. It's just that this unfortunate one happened where she died. But a lot of people take kick and box and, drink all sorts of things that could possibly kill them just to be in that group. So let us call it for what it is. Let me don't say let's call it for what it is. But let us also look at the possibility of it could have been some sort of initiation. So let me don't waste more time on that. Let me talk about what I really call him for. I was on the road last night, so I didn't get to take part in I couldn't, the cannabis discussion. Right. And I was looking so forward to it being advertised for a while. I saw the doc over Frigate Bay, and I was tempted to tell him about my views, but through he was with somebody, I respected his space. Only to know that I didn't get a chance last night. I had an in-house audience, but not really from the public. And so I would like to appeal to them when they're doing these sort of things, and especially this new industry that's going to affect everybody, not just people who fully going to be trading in it, but the public in general. People tend to, once they reach a certain income level, forget that there's other people who listen to radio still. And it will be so at least maybe for the next 10 years. After that, radio might be extinct. But for now, and everybody going to be online, and they're just assuming everybody have data and you have Wi-Fi. So, but I was on the road, and I had to be in my vehicle just going from station to station, trying. No radio station had it on. Now I could understand that they had a religious thing that is pre-book standing, right? Win FM had on some kind of music, a DJ was on Freedom, nobody else had it on, but online. But what my concern is, and I've been discussing with several Rasta men around the place, and I am telling you, Ras Ayo is the one who hit the nail on the head of the grass with people last night. Because this is what I was trying to put to them. The cannabis, yes, is cannabis sativa, and of course, the medical marijuana and the actual cannabis, or the medical cannabis and the marijuana. It's two different things. They're like the same family, but like cousins. So I'm telling them what they are smoking is not what the medical people purporting to legalize and so on. They have a different thing, so I was telling them, go. And Ras Ayo was the one who brought it about the 10-mile radius. between the hemp farm and the actual marijuana farm, and he discussed the cross-pollination, only which I didn't meet before that discussion, because he echoed my sentiments exactly. So you can't have you're going to eat out the hemp itself, going to pollinate the high grade
that is true.
That these guys planting. In Colorado now, they're having wars between the hemp and the marijuana farmers.
Yeah, I saw a report on that actually. Yeah.
And they're forcing the medical one them now to go indoors because it is trying the people high grades. So I want the Rasta men them to be aware that it is not, don't let them hoodwink y'all like how they hoodwink us about this free movement and this nonsense about, oh, we're going to do the medical part first and then we're going to come to y'all with y'all recreational. No. Let them bring everything forth one time. This integrating thing is a trick. Just of course, this railway thing full of the taxi people them and then they're out balling like some, don't allow it to happen with the marijuana. Let them go indoors, go plant the medical marijuana and keep your high-grade farm free with the natural air, the natural soil, the high-grade, etc., etc. Don't be fool people.
Right.
Don't know one scale, but, oh, we can come to y'all later. Up to now. It's a kind of trick.
Because I'm going to say something. The whole discussion, I know you're saying, some people ain't online, but if you want to check it out, it is on ZIZ online on YouTube. The full discussion is there. So if you get a chance sometime, you should check it out. And
I got to do it when I'm home. Yeah.
Right.
Because the Wi-Fi, but like I said, I was on the road, so I was on my phone and all it could.
I wanted to
take a little bit.
I wanted to watch it too.
Listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it too, but I was out as well, so I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it when I get a chance.
Yeah, man. But as I'm bigging you up. You represented us, the grassroots people, the man. I am proud of you. You may not be the kind of fluent speaker like the doctors and the lawyers and them and the specialists, but trust me, you brought our argument to the table. And I'm suggesting any discussion going forward should include Ras Aya. Right? Trust me. To smooth talking. But like I said, they're interested in the CDB and it's good. Let them go indoor, go plant the medical marijuana in there. Interested in the THC, let it be as it is. And another thing, before I go ask him, we are talking about a new industry. When I used to do agriculture, the first thing they taught us is look a market before you plant. Right? So now we sell this thing. All these states them now in the USA having problem selling the stuff across borders. In the little cocoon there can get a lot of overproduction with all the tincture and the different edibles and that kind of thing, and can't get to sell in the States, across over because everybody had their own thing.
Right.
So have we put we haven't heard any marketing strategy who we're going to sell it to, because if we can't sell it to the States, Jamaica still having a problem.
I don't say a lot of times how I feel about that. The reality is, when we started talking about commercializing agriculture, we've been growing all sorts of produce here for years, and we still haven't been able to fully get it right, to fully commercialize. So my issue is not necessarily that. I think that is an argument that you make as you try to say what are some of the benefits. But I think it is something that should not be criminalized in the first place, and I don't think money is the real reason it should be decriminalized. That's not my focus personally. But if we are going into that, then like you said, we would have to fully examine what are the potential markets, placements, what will be the requirements, what will be the logistics of getting it from here to there. And yeah, like you said, that discussion seems to be lacking. It's not a very deep conversation. Yeah.
If you see some of those glass greenhouses, right? You could take up like the whole of the village, up the village. I mean, these things cover acres. It is so small. And then we're battling now we're going to do food for food security. And I suspect that is what they're holding back the land. It's over a year now we're trying to get a little 5 acres to a little farm And they got me running about, oh, sustainable and tax, all the land agriculture yet. I mean, over a year, the man.
Tough.
So they're
tough.
rolling this year for the medical marijuana.
Well, we're going to wait and see what the plan is. We're going to wait and see. But Carl, I appreciate the contribution, bro.
Yes, man. Blessed, brother.
All right.
Cool. Big up, Razaya. Yeah, man.
Somebody is commenting and saying majority of states let you plant some plants, and anyone that talks can go their own. It's not hard. Okay, well, yeah, I wasn't very interested in the cannabis conversation, but I wasn't gonna comment on it because I didn't watch it. But it's good to see that these conversations are being had open, especially with persons from such a varied background, right? So I'll wait until I watch it to make comments on that. But good news, guys. Speaking of bigging up people, we're gonna big up the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. I just got some pictures saying that finally the jungle at the back of Beach Island is being deforested. So finally, after some weeks and weeks of complaining, my complaints were heard. As a matter of fact, I know Jade yesterday put it out, and we were promised that it was going to get looked into. So happy to see that finally something is being done as it relates to that particular situation up at Beach Island. Thank you very much. Big up to the people that are there actually doing the work as well. Yeah, we love when things need to happen and they happen. I mean, it might have been a little delayed, but hey, the minister said he was going to look into it, and we've seen action this morning. So, big up yourself. Hey, big up the teachers, the students, and all other staff at Beach Island as well. Yeah, Island TV working with you. So, if we could only get some pedestrian crossings now, yeah, we're cooking on gas. I'm cooking on electric. They said they're trying to get us over to electric stoves. So we're cooking electricity. But yeah, guys, that is definitely a plus. I was actually gonna do one quick article before we go into the next segment. So let me just try and knock out this quick. We gotta do something local. So it says SKN government considering local loss and damage funding. Let's see what it's about. A few days are left for the UN's climate conference, COP27, where world leaders will continue the fight against the climate crisis with the critical issue of loss and damage funding making the agenda this year. The fund is primarily for the benefit of countries most vulnerable and most affected by climate-related disasters. Oh, here we go again. You got a problem, throw money at it. Every year, it is estimated that small island developing states lose 20% of total social expenditures from climate-related disasters compared to 1.2% in North America and less than 1% in Europe and Central Asia. The consensus has been that the topic of loss and damage funding needs to be more substantive. Vulnerable countries considered it a huge success that loss and damage funding made it onto the formal agenda for COP27, holding wealthy countries' feet to the fire and pushing for a binding commitment this year. Let me continue. However, international reports suggest that amid a tough economy, US and EU leaders worry that they won't be able to get this funding passed through legislation at home, where they're already facing an uphill battle to marshal more money to fulfill climate finance commitments. Let me finish the article and then I could cuss. With the slow movement of getting richer countries to commit to substantial funding for climate vulnerable territories, what are vulnerable countries doing to secure their own local loss and damage funding? Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, unveiled the Bahamas Blue Carbon Credit Management Initiative at CARICOM Pavilion at COP27 on November 11th. The Blue Carbon Credit Management Initiative will introduce carbon credit, a tradable or certificate validating an offset. 1 ton of carbon is 1 carbon credit. Davis expressed the importance of innovation and collaboration with the private sector and non-profit partners to bring about climate action within the Caribbean. At home in St. Kitts and Nevis, Prime Minister the Dr. Honorable Terence Drew acknowledged the importance of loss and damage funding being included on the agenda for COP27 in response to a question from a WIN reporter. Dr. Drew brought up the need for multidimensional vulnerability index, which many Caribbean countries have been calling for, especially during last year's session. It does go on to speak about the MVI, the Multi-Vulnerability Index, which means you just cannot judge us on GDP alone to determine if we could have access to a concessionary loan, which we don't have because we are considered a high-income country. Yet we are expected to deal with loss and damage. We are expected to convert our country, at least from an infrastructural standpoint, into a resilient country. I would speak all the time about the sustainable island state. That costs money. Just to build a climate-smart hospital would cost us up to 100 million. Climate smart means that we are building a hospital that will be able to resist the issues to deal with climate change. So if we were hit by a heavy hurricane, at least we should have a hospital that can stand up and treat our people. And that is one infrastructural change. But it does seem as though this climate change issue is... The truth is, the change that will be necessary to address some of these issues is expensive, costly, and I do believe a lot of countries see it as an issue that is either passed off to future generations, and so they don't really have to, you give a little here, but at the end of the day, profits are what gonna determine this. When we start talking about bigger countries recognizing their contribution to carbon emissions, climate change, greenhouse gases, etc., but recognize that they're not the ones who have to foot the bulk of the bill. Smaller islands and smaller countries are the ones who are in a more vulnerable position to deal with the effects. But you think they care? That seem like they're probably watching that like that's a plus. They're probably watching that like that's a plus. And like we go here and we start making these claims for money and something. No, I don't know if this is how we move forward. And I think a lot of times the goals don't really line up. The goals don't really line up. When we start talking about we want to improve how nations handle the issue of climate change, changing out using different energy sources, putting different standards in place in terms of what types of vehicles we drive, how much greenhouse gases are emitted from factories, etc., etc., etc. What is it that we are doing to ensure that these things are put in place? We set these goals, and then the year come and the year pass, and then there's always something like, because it isn't incentivized. If we can't incentivize these types of actions, then these actions are going to be slow in coming. But it does a lot of time when we hear about these conversations, it does feel like a lot of talk shop. I don't know if it's just me, but it really does feel like a lot of talk shop, especially from a lot of these developed countries where a lot of these, like I said, gases and things where they generate from. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out at the end of this, if there's a vote taken or anything like that. We're going to have to wait and see. But guys, I'm going to take a short break and come right back with more Island Tea. Stick and stay. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Triple that cash back. From now until December 31st, Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is going to triple that cash back. Triple that cash back. You heard right. Hosford's is going to triple that never-ending cash back now with 3 big ways to save. 1. Get low monthly and weekly payments and no payment until February 2023. 2. Get a chance to win absolutely free groceries for 1 year. 3. Triple that never-ending cashback at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store for even more groceries. Triple that cashback today at Hosford. Triple the savings. Triple the free groceries. Triple the extraordinary. Triple that never-ending cashback today. See store for details.
Buildings damaged by an earthquake are dangerous. This is not the time for sightseeing. You could be in personal danger and your presence could hamper emergency responses. Also, stay away from areas prone to landslides, low-lying coastal areas, lakes and streams that lead to the ocean. Do not head for the coast until local authorities tell you that the danger of a tsunami has passed. Curiosity can kill.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by Numa in collaboration with Win FM.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island T right here on Win Media SKN. And guys, we are jumping into some conversation with a very special guest joining us via Zoom. See what happened when Jay decided to not come in. I always find somebody to come keep me company. So we have with us this morning Mr. Terrence Martin. Terrence, good morning. Your mic's on, brother?
Yeah, it's on, man. Good morning. And Terrence Mister is my father. I always make that joke, but it's okay as it.
But how are you doing?
Hey, good, man. It's a cold morning. Had a late class last night, so this is an early morning for me.
I can imagine. But it's always a pleasure. You've been here hanging out with us before. We've had some conversation. For those persons who may not be familiar, just let us know exactly what is it that you do and a little bit of your background.
No problem, man. My name is Terrence Martin, straight out of Newtown, right there on Pond Road. Proud product of Newtown Primary School, now Tucker Clark. Lucky enough to have a PhD in financial planning, which is a derivative of finance. And I'm a university professor. I'm an associate professor of finance at Winston-Salem State University and a center director for the Center in Excellence in Financial Services. I wear many hats, bro. So, I'm even the editor of an academic journal. So yeah, I do quite a bit.
All right, but I mean, when we start talking about finance, from what you've said, I would believe that you may know a thing or two. You may know just a little bit, unlike me, who is very opinionated but has very little knowledge and talks a lot. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that has been in the news, and we discussed it a bit yesterday, maybe just mention it actually, was, a recent development, something that I guess might have actually caught a lot of us by surprise this past weekend, which was the announcement by the Prime Minister that we are looking towards creating a situation where Bitcoin Cash, for instance, is being used as, or will be accepted as legal tender. Yesterday, we mentioned it. I gave some of my views, and we got some responses from some of the listeners and the viewers. The sippers were interested in that and were asking a lot of questions. And, you're somebody, based on your background, who, like I said, may have a little more information than I might. And so I'm very interested to hear what are your thoughts and views on the recent developments and announcements made.
I want to choose my words really carefully, because I agree with the Honorable Prime Minister that we have to diversify the way in which we do business. If we're going to survive in this technological age, it's 2022, we're doing business differently, so across the Caribbean, we've lost a lot of correspondence banking. So you see, like the Royal banks have moved out, which makes doing business a lot harder. So there are some benefits in looking towards cryptocurrency as a viable option in terms of settling transactions. So when the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that, he's looking at it as a potential form of legal tender, I wanted him to be extremely general in his comments. And that was my hope. However, the specific identification of Bitcoin Cash as that potential source of legal tender is problematic to me. And I was home in March, and everywhere I went, I kept seeing these Bitcoin Cash logos. And I'll be honest, at one point I invested in Bitcoin Cash, and then I quickly realized the error of my ways. My damn money. So the reality is that when I would see this, especially with our young entrepreneurs or small businesses, and I had to question why. Like, do you understand that if I was to come and pay you, let's say $1,000 a good night out at the bar in Bitcoin Cash, you might wake up tomorrow and it's down 5%. You might only have $950. Like, do you understand how volatile this market is? And trust me, brother, a lot of them didn't. Right? So it's being pushed as a way of taking payments, as a way of settling transactions, as a way of doing business, but they don't understand the volatility that comes with this market space, especially if you know anything that happens in crypto right now. I mean, it's basically plummeted in the last year.
Right. I mean, yeah, it has been. But I mean, to be honest, I think one of the pushbacks may be that no matter the market, we've seen a downturn in several different markets, even those where fiat is the underpinning currency, right? But when we start talking about countries moving towards not only accepting but promoting cryptocurrency, it does raise some other questions, because your concern, I think, was similar to mine, which was specifying a particular coin to be backed, and like what goes into that decision, as opposed to recognizing the importance of crypto,
Exactly.
and even if it's about accepting some right? Package, and what are the what goes into the decision of, okay, these are the ones that we are for these particular reasons, and how do we interface that into our existing system, etc., etc., etc. But one thing that came up in our conversation yesterday was the idea of central bank controlled cryptos, right?
The cash.
Well, for instance, I know the Bahamas would have gone ahead and developed their own cryptocurrency that is backed by the Bahamian dollar and controlled by the Bahamian central bank. I think they call it the Sand Dollar.
Okay.
And some people ask about, hey, well, should we take that road? Should it be something where the government creates their own coin as a way to enter in this space and bring about some of the advantages that you discussed about speed of transactions, security, that type of thing? Is that something that you think that's something they could look into as well?
You got to understand, we are a member of a currency union,
right.
So we can't say we're gonna have our own, right? Because and then peg it against the EC dollar. That has to be made at a regional level, which is what they were trying to do with Dcash.
With Dcash, right?
I know where we are in the process. I know it had some issues. Some people feel that the implementation wasn't great, so they pulled out. They're revamping it, is my understanding, and then they're going to come back to the market. They can't not come back to the market because, as you point out, a lot of governments, not just in the region but throughout the world, are looking towards crypto, right, as a way of doing business. And one of the things that cryptocurrency bring to the marketplace that St. Kitts Nevis could use, especially since we have such a large diaspora that sends money back, is settling transactions within minutes instead of days, and sometimes weeks, right? You know, sometimes you send money to back home, it takes like 5 days to settle in an account.
If you're lucky.
Check of a certain amount of money, or even a wire transfer could take 24 hours to settle. You know, I could tell you, brother, I sent a wire transfer home in the summer and I haven't even received a receipt from the government as yet. You know, so I don't even know if they had my money or not. It's crazy. So, but it's the fast and speed of doing business. And so we have to move into that space. But I caution the government to say, to your point, like, you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your due diligence in identifying not just one cryptocurrency type to potentially use as legal tender, but to look at a list and at least go to some of the more traditional and more, I want to say stable. Saying a stable coin seems like ridiculous right now since everything is down.
But not only that, I think stable coin has its own definition as well. So like if you say stable coin, right, so yeah. But I think you're talking about maybe one of the more established, maybe one that has maybe a bigger market cap.
Technologies.
Right.
Like Ethereum or Bitcoin itself, which is not Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is a derivative from Bitcoin after there was like this, what they call a hard fork, and it sort of split off, right? And they were able to create new technologies from there. And there have been similar hard forks that happened with the Bitcoin blockchain that have created other elements. But the thing is, so if you were to look, so back to my point, since March, I've been on this and I've been posting about it regularly with the returns of Bitcoin Cash specifically. And over the life of Bitcoin Cash, and the reason why I would prefer, say, a Bitcoin or Ethereum over the life, total existence, it's negative. So if you had $100 from inception and today, that's probably going to be worth less than $20. It's negative. Now, compare that to a Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other coins, cryptocurrencies. They have positive, double, triple, quadruple digit returns over the life of it. So even though they're volatile, remember, investing is supposed to be long term, right? A lot of people like to go in for these short term wins. That's not necessarily how I don't invest like that. I'm a long term investor. That's what I recommend, right? You could have your core portfolio be long term. So I would be more comfortable if I'm doing a long term assessment of this coin, if it had a positive return, and it doesn't. So that's my concern. Like last week, it was down like what 7%. Then this week it was up 17%, directly as a result, right, of the increased sentiment in social media, because what the Prime Minister said was making its rounds. And we can't ignore the reality of that we have to be so careful with what we give credence, all right, and what we give support, right? So the government is doing the right thing by looking at this space, but they have to be careful in what they identify as potential. And, words were used like, oh, as long as there's guaranteed protection. There's nothing named guaranteed. It just does not exist.
Yeah.
But if I was to tell you the amount of money I lost this past year in the market with all the volatility, the war in Ukraine, etc., it would be maddening, because it's maddening for me. But again, I'm a long-term investor, and unless I don't realize those losses, I'm fine.
Right. I think that I think that when we start having these conversations, particularly about crypto, and a lot of times when we talk about crypto, we're talking specifically about the financial sector, even though crypto is something, even as an idea, like it's something that could be transferred to many different spaces, right? But so the idea of crypto in itself, I think, is something that we can't escape. I think the idea, and again, I'm not talking specifically about cryptocurrencies or finance. I'm talking about the idea of crypto decentralization. It's a universalist ideal that too many people are agree with, and it will take hold, including in the thing. Even if we consider ourselves capitalistic, we haven't really had a situation where the idea of money has been able to compete with any other ideas of money, right? And that's how we get innovation. So now that we have this particular idea of what money is, and this thing that we use to exchange value, I think that a lot of people are seeing the potential. A lot of people are able to now come into this space. I don't believe that we can ignore it, right? And so yes, I think so, but what are some of the things that you think that as a nation, as a region, we should take into consideration and look at when we make decisions about which of these coins and cryptocurrencies we should accept?
Well, so the benefits of each of them should be, they're underpinned, right? Because they're built on similar technologies. So I think we have to look at long-term record, right? That's one thing. And long-term record is kind of crazy, because most of these things are less than 5 years old. But we have to look at the main characteristics, look at the people involved in creating these coins, look at their backgrounds, and to make sure that it's legitimate. Look at the liquidity. Here's the thing: you may have heard about the FTX collapse, right?
Right.
Because a lot of the popular celebrities are now being sued because they were endorsing FTX. And the thing is, that company had a leverage issue. It was over leveraged, and it had on way too much debt, right? So it had a cash flow problem. Right. This isn't like accounting where we care about profit and loss. Yes, profits are great, but profits can be manipulated.
Right.
When you're in finance and the finance space, what we care about is cash flows. And a lot of these companies are over leveraged. So we have to look at the ability for liquidity. And that was FTX's problem, because the affiliated company, Almeida Research, that was there to provide liquidity to this exchange, collapsed because it was over leveraged, because it was holding so much of the underpinning currency. Because what's happening when these exchanges open, they create their own coins.
Right.
I don't think a lot of coins. You're gonna see, just like not every country in the world has its own currency. We've seen some sort of regionalization, like with the EU, with the European Union, they came together. Us here in the Eastern Caribbean, there was even at some point talks of a Western hemispheric currency, led by the US dollar, making the US dollar the main currency. As the space develops, I think you're going to see a lot more of that block-like atmosphere coming together again, even within the crypto space. This is Darwinism. The strong is going to survive. So we need, for the government has to look at liquidity. And I mean, honestly, brother, like, as a way of doing business right now, we have to be so careful. There have to be a mechanism that if the transaction comes in at 9 o'clock by 9:01, we put that into something like USDT. Something that's more trading like a money market or Dcash if we get Dcash back up and running, where we are able to lock in current market prices. Otherwise, they will have to have some sort of regulation to discuss who bears the brunt of those market movements after a transaction is initiated. Is it the government that's going to bear the brunt if, say, I transfer today, let's say Bitcoin Cash at 100, but then by 12 o'clock it's $95? So I just lost 5% on the money. Who's going to take on that responsibility? I would tell them to look at the major players, stakeholders, liquidity, the infrastructure and network. But that's not even the most problematic thing that I got out of Saturday. It was also mentioned that we're going to look into mining of crypto. And I don't mean to laugh, but we see the electricity issues that we have already. The type of computational power and infrastructural power that we need to be effective miners. I mean, we're in the Caribbean. It's like 80 degrees on average. And most mining setups tend to be in colder weather areas.
Right.
Because
it generates so much heat, yeah.
Exactly. So
I know that has been something that has been looked at. There's been several companies that have come to the island and have tried to look at the feasibility of setting up mining sites and stuff like that. And it is really a logistical headache to try and even identify geographical spots on the island that make sense.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. It's a good thing if we could get it because it's extremely profitable. If you look at the crypto space still, I mean, because just by the nature of blockchain, you could create your own Bitcoin in an efficient system. And I'm talking about Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin in 10 minutes, right? I think a system like ours may take, in an area like ours with the computational power and the infrastructure that we have, it could take up to maybe 60 days, which still, that's life-changing money for some people.
Right.
But when you look at against the cost of just mining in terms of like electricity costs, if we're hearing about bills just for regular use, it's going to be astronomical and it might be negligible. So I commend the government for looking at the space, but I think that should come with a basket of crypto options, initially looking at some of the more traditional coins, and then giving consumers options. So I'm happy that payments are being accepted in this space, but we have to be careful with the execution, the implementation, if we keep money into these specific coins.
And just to be clear, it's not an issue. You're not speaking directly to the use of any particular cryptocurrency by the general public or by different merchants. So that level of adoption isn't what you're talking about. But when we start talking about legal tender, and that's where that's specifically what you're speaking about. Okay, I got you.
I saw a news article come out yesterday saying that the government said that they won't take crypto for CBI investors or from CBI investors, but if you consider it legal tender, how do you not?
But I think that is something I couldn't understand as well. And then the question would be, why wouldn't you?
Right. So, and that's the thing, right? So, and I know Antigua has gone down this space. Clearly, other islands will go down this space. Barbados has made some headways in this whole digital age, digital economy. Looking, I think Barbados at one point was looking into the NFT space. But the reality is, we can't not be in this market. Check. Great. The benefits we need to, because we're losing our foreign banks. Yes. But we have to be careful. If we're going to call something legal tender, we have to be careful with what we give that sort of precedence, because the impact on the market and the movement in the prices and the legitimization and the endorsement of that specific coin last weekend was highly problematic for me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure just as those announcements would have caused a lot of conversation. I don't think the conversations are gonna stop.
I don't.
Yeah, I think, and I think it's good that we are able to have the conversations. When I spoke yesterday, I think a lot of people felt I was somehow against any particular currency, and I was like, no, that's not the issue. The issue is again, I would love to see a situation where this becomes a reality, meaning we are open to doing business in the crypto space. But again, it should be, I would believe, a basket of coins that basket should be determined by research, and we have clear levels of thresholds that these things have to meet in order to be called such.
As a final comment, I know you probably have to wrap up our segment, but I find it really interesting that we as a region, as a country, we hardly invest, right? If you look at the ECSC, there's hardly any movements, right? Because people are using it. But yet we're so gung-ho and using cryptocurrency, which is extremely more volatile with unproven track records of returns, specifically in the one that most people have adopted. And you look at, like, on the ECSC, you could get a 13% return from, like, St. Lucia Electric, the farmer. So it's crazy to me that we're so running to this brand new shiny thing. But let me tell people, all that glitters is not gold, and you have to do your due diligence. This is not play games. This is real money, real price movement of 5 to 10% losses in a potential day. If you can't, you lose that money. Do not be in this space, and do not do business in this space. Do not take payments in this space and then just sit in this coin. You have to have a mechanism to exit. All right. So I've had some strong views on that particular coin. It's all over my social media, mainly because, like, I go back to, there's no positive return over long term. And can it change? Hell yes, it could change. Right. The benefit of that of BCH was to lower transaction costs.
Right.
And even if it doesn't do that, it's still going to be lower than doing transaction costs with traditional ways to send money back and wire transfers, etc. We can't avoid it, but our approach, I encourage the government to actually listen to stakeholders that aren't just working for investment banks on Wall Street. We have within the diaspora citizens, residents that have experience and knowledge that they could turn to. We don't have to turn to the opinions of analysts, because if anything, the financial crisis of 2008 told us, or should have taught us, is that an analyst will tell you it's their opinion. What you choose to do is your decision. Not one person went to jail for the 2008 financial crisis. That should tell you something. You can't lock up someone for their opinion if you just acted on their recommendation. So we have to be very specific, very diligent, and tap into people that have the country's best interests at heart.
Yeah, definitely. I could agree with that. And like I said, this is gonna be something that we're gonna be hearing about a lot more. I could say in recent, in the short term for sure. Especially as it seems like this is something that is moving quickly. I remember I was actually at the conference, and I remember the face of the MP from the MP from St. Martin, and when he went up, he was like, "Well, I don't know if we could move that quick," but so it's like,
yeah, that was frightening. To be honest. It's frightening. We don't have the infrastructure to move that quick.
Yeah.
So the comment of a March 23, it's just I'm trying to choose my words because I don't want anybody to, But anyway, yeah,
it's the right direction. It's the right direction, but you're saying that the steps should be taken carefully and diligently.
Of course,
I got you.
Not too slow. You can't be snail-like.
Right.
You can't be turtle-like. But even the turtle beat the hare, right? So you don't want to rush into something and then we have problems that we can't pull back from. This has to be a calculated undertaking. And I say we start with something that gives us a one-to-one exchange that moves like a money market coin,
like a USDT,
and those types of options, and then we go from there.
All right, well, Terrence, appreciate your views. I'm sure this conversation I know is gonna spark a lot of conversation as well, and we look forward to that. I could just full disclosure. I know we're hoping to have someone to speak directly about BCH as well, and perhaps even some of the other cryptocurrencies. I own some crypto, including BCH. Just to see exactly how it works and all of that, and it has been I think I can say it's probably the most widely adopted currency, cryptocurrency.
It's the most marketed.
Yeah, the most marketed, and I'll say widely adopted too, because I don't see much usage outside of that as well. So there's definitely something happening there. And so hopefully through these conversations we could help to inform the best decisions possible as we move forward into this space.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot,
man.
bro. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, for sure. But guys, there you have it, guys. We're gonna take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Guys, stick and stay. Don't go anywhere.
When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Have no drink and we a shell down cars. Blast like a star with some a gallopar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Celebrating 70 years. Can you believe it? Everyone loves a Shirley biscuit, known for its rich, creamy taste, as well as the iconic house and flower design. We all know Shirley is the perfect on-the-go snack, and it's truly the Caribbean's favorite. Simply put, there's nothing quite like a Shirley biscuit. I can't imagine life without it. I too love my Shirley.
It's the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Have no drink and we a shell down cars. Blast like a star with some a gallopar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island T right here on Win Media SKN. We're jumping into the last few minutes of the show today. Thank you guys for being such a big part of what it is that we're doing here. And in the trend of keeping me company today, I have I have in the studio with me someone I've known for quite some time, Mr. Vincent Foe, who is here in his capacity as the chairperson of the streets activities on the St. Kitts National Carnival Committee. Good morning, Vincent. How are you doing, bro?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing good and giving thanks.
Well, I mean, what else there to do, right? You complain, nobody take you on.
I'm telling you.
But I'm glad you were able to come and hang out with me this morning. And we be jumping. Well, everybody now is excited officially about what is to come, Carnival, from the excitement that came out of costumes going on sale for some of the more anticipated troops and stuff like that. Everyone seems to be talking about Carnival and what they can expect and what they intend to do. And street activities seem to be one of the areas that has really been piquing the interest and getting people so much more excited. How does it feel about being the person responsible for such a big part of what it is that makes Carnival?
I'm telling you, it's exciting with some little stress, because as the street activities, that's one of the biggest, most exciting events where most participants take part and the widest and the largest spectators will be involved. So to plan out all of that and, just bouncing back after 2 years we didn't have any streets activities, it sort of put us in some compromising position because so much changes has been done over the years. For the past 2 years, I must say, due to the restriction of COVID and that sort of stuff. So to come back now with a year of activities is a lot of uncertainty of how we're gonna do, where we're gonna put the vendors, the routing for the parade too, because a lot of persons are excited and want to come back out. Yeah. And the Carnival Committee want to give them that opportunity where they can enjoy themselves after coming back from 2 years not on the streets, having fun, colors, and just in their bloom of fantasy and excitement. So we are working very hard on that, and it's been a little challenging, but I must say that we are getting by, and hopefully everything would fall in place by the time we get to that peak moment.
All right. Well, I mean, just so people are clear as to what exactly these street activities are, tell us exactly what events.
Well, the street activities consist of the Juve morning, which is one of the highlights, where a lot of persons come out and express and enjoy themselves. We have the Grand Carnival Parade. That's another big excitement day. And we also have the Junior Carnival, where the children comes out on the streets and display their little costumes and also be involved in the excitement. So that's much taken the role of the National Carnival Streets Activities Committee.
All right, and so and does the traditional last lap, isn't that included? The second parade.
That as well. I forgot that one, but yeah, we do have the last lap because that's
All right. Well, I mean, those things you mentioned are definitely, like you've been stressing, some of the highlights of the entire carnival proceedings. It does, like you said, garner the biggest level of spectatorship, and I think when we start talking about how other people view the carnival, that's a direct image that goes out and to represent what Carnival in St. Kitts is, the Juve morning, the parade, all right, the last lap and the junior parade. I think those are some of the things that really help to define what Carnival is to a lot of people who may not actually even be here, right? So I understand the importance of that. And you said that I could imagine that because of the restrictions over the years, the changes that you might have mentioned, some of them not even directly linked to COVID, for instance, vendors being off the streets and stuff like that, that it does present considerations that might not have even been something you had to consider before.
Yeah, that's true.
We had last week the announcement that the parade route is being updated and has evolved. What were some of the considerations that went into that decision?
Well, one was the amount of troops that we have registered this year.
Well, people have come out?
Very much so. And some of the troops have a lot of persons in there. So we look at the extending the route where the troops could have enough playground to enjoy themselves, show off their costume, just unwind from coming back from 2 years without street activities. Right. Then we had the amount of vendors. For the first time, we have had the amount of troops registered and vendors. I guess it's probably close to 200 vendors who are now being registered.
So everybody wants to be a part of
exactly.
this. Right.
And you know that they have moved vendors out of the city. Mm-hmm. So that give us here, how can we accommodate all these vendors to, make something and enjoy the carnival while they make a little sugar cake, as my good boy Ike said, to benefit them and to help the economy. So those things came into consideration. But even though I guess it was mentioned by Madam Chair, I think sometime last week you mentioned, and then there's some persons who think that it's a bit too long and it may be getting them exhausted. So we had to go back now and review.
So it's still under consideration. So
yes,
what was proposed is still under consideration before making a final decision. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Because that was one of the things that I heard. I mean, for me personally, I was a fan of it. I don't know if you heard. I was calling up your name on the radio. I don't know if anybody tell you. I tell you. I was like, somebody call Vincent, tell him, look here. But I was speaking specifically to the fact that we are expecting, especially after the 2 years of not having it, to see a level of participation and excitement, perhaps that we've never seen before.
Right.
And, hopefully, and the hope was that there was considerations for even safety. Someone even brought up, out of that conversation, even, ensuring that there's a proper route for instance, the EMS to be able to get to town in case of anything and stuff like that. Has safety been one of the things that you guys have been looking at? Can we expect improvements in what is done to keep the participants safe?
Definitely. We have never, and over the years that I've been a part of the National Carnival Committee, safety has always been one of the front runner, because we know we're going to have a town with a lot of participants, a lot of onlookers, and so therefore...
How they drinks one into?
Exactly. So that was something that we definitely had to look into. And yes, we have looked at all of those. There's somebody who is in charge in dealing with that segment. And there's a safe zone where in the event of the ambulance need to get into town, it has a route that it takes, end up at the safe zone where they can do what they have to do and get back out safely. So definitely, yes, the safety of the participants as well as the revelers has been taken into consideration, and that has been put in place so we know that we can have persons being taken care of in the event of. But we don't really want anybody to get injured. So that's one of the things that we are also asking revelers, onlookers, even the band leaders, the sound system, to make sure they echo that sentiment of be safe, enjoy yourself, have fun, and keep it clean, because we want, coming back after 2 years from no street activities, we don't want to be having people scattering out there because
nothing to mar the excitement.
No, we don't want that. We want to go down as our 51st anniversary carnival as a clean, exciting, fun-filling, colorful, enjoyable carnival.
They say this is 50 part 2, yeah. But no, I mean, even the what you said just now. One thing when we were having the discussion that we were talking about that came up was the incredible job that is done usually by the marshals, right, in trying to keep people safe, and really wanted to big up the marshals and the job that they're doing.
Yep.
Because I'm going to tell you, I don't know how they're able to keep people safe under some of the variables that they have there. I see marshals literally go ahead and look. I can tell you, I've seen marshals save people's life. I didn't even get across the line. I have seen marshals save people's life on the road, and the job that they do is so important. But also having, like you said, buy-in from the bands themselves, the hi-fis, the troops, even the tractor drivers themselves. I think if everybody's on a similar page, that can go a long way in ensuring that we have incident-free street activities. I'm happy to hear that is something that the committee is really pushing. And so you spoke about the fact that you have record number of troops being involved, registering, record number of vendors, right? How about the bands and stuff like that? How has the registration and the number of entertainment type acts, how has that been looking?
The regular bands, and basically all our the big bands all are on board registered, plus I think there's 2 new ones that are also registered.
Nice.
Plus a lot of the sound system on board as well. So I can say for entertainment, we have a pack registered set on board, because everybody, after, I gotta repeat this, coming back from 2 years, no street activities, the hi-fis, the owners of the sound systems, they want to be out there to blast their music. The bands want to be out there to make their fans, even though they're having private events on weekends. Carnival is one of the most enticing and exciting frolic moment.
Mm-hmm.
So these bands want to be out there where the fans can just let loose.
Right.
Unwind, be free, and just enjoy that moment, because over the years, St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival has always been a frolic, fun-filling, unwind, let loose carnival.
Right.
So that is all the bands are on board, I must say, and they have committed to take part in whatever carnival activities that is being put up there. And I don't know if I didn't even walk with one, the flyer, the calendar of activities, but you realize there's a lot of private events also that's on the calendar of activities, plus our national carnival events that we have to put on. So it's a packed December for our carnival this year.
Man, and I could tell. I've seen the calendar. There's hardly any downtime. There's a saying that I think rings true, or truer this year than any other year. This Carnival we're living on the road, because I don't see any home time nowhere on the calendar.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. But speaking of on the road, and we did mention vendors. Could you give us any hints about possible? Let's say, in the past, they might have called it a grand market. They might have called it Action Avenue. Any plans to, or any consideration to have a particular place, whether it's in town or otherwise, where the vendors can kind of populate and be a hub for persons who may not attend one of the other events? Is that something that you've heard any issue about, any talks about?
Well, I attended a meeting with the vendors, even though they're dealing with street activities, but not with the vendors.
Right.
As Madam Chair said, because I'm being with streets, I should be involved in the listening of what's going on for the vendors. And being at a meeting, that was something that was asked by vendors, if they, in the event of they want to have a night entertainment, because some person may just want to come and hang out by a bar.
Right.
What would we do? And it has not been confirmed, because then the committee would have to make the discussion, but I think I overheard that they would have, they haven't specified which area, but there would be some sort of area set in town where they would have a night entertainment. So vendors who are downtown, because there's some vendors who are going to be there for like 2 weeks. And some going to just be on particular days like Parade Day, Juve, and Junior Carnival. So those persons who are going to be there for those 2 weeks, I guess they're going to be a space that's going to be identified, and it's probably a stage erect where they can have night entertainment. So persons who don't want to go to the other shows or the other event that is putting off can hang around, and vendors will be able to,
Yeah, because I know in years past, I mean, you know, the Bay Road used to be a place where, you know, people could go and hang out.
And the circus.
And the circus as well. And we would have had, you know, things like even Party Central in certain years there on Central Street. So I think those are some of the things that really persons look forward to and really help to round out the options for persons, you know, as it relates to being able to participate in Carnival. So happy to hear also that is something that is being discussed and looked at.
Yeah, but we also want, even though it's that, I'm still going to plead to persons. We want it to be a safe and incident-free Carnival. So we know persons that get hype easily. So we're just asking all persons out there, visitors, citizens, we're gonna have visitors, because on Parade Day, we're gonna think we'll be having 2 cruise ships in. So not even over nationals and visitors coming in, you're gonna have tourists as well gonna be on the street. So they're gonna want to also partake in some of the fun and the frolic that we have in Carnival. So we are asking persons to be on their best behavior. I mean, even if you get intoxicated, just sit in a corner, drink some water, sleep it out, and you know what I mean. And you know, but instead of getting, we don't want the fighting and that sort of thing. We're trying to outgrow that. We just need to be loving, friendly, and have a lot of fun. Enjoy our carnival because it's our carnival, and if we don't make it fun-filling, then who else is gonna come and make it then?
And I think what I hear from you, Vincent, is really the need for us to take ownership of the product itself.
Definitely.
And every one of us, I think, has a responsibility in some way to ensure that it is the best it can be. You know, look out for your friends. Make sure you take care of your friends. Everybody be your brothers and your sisters' keeper. And because the goal is to like have safe fun, really.
Exactly, and you know that's what we want. I mean, hey, coming back off, you had 2 years of shutdown, no activities, couldn't go on the street to go jam or anything like that, and then.
But you sound like you're grieving, as you say. There's no can't go on the street. Nobody want.
You know, so it's a lot of excitement. I'm telling you because heard persons. I mean, they can't wait for Carnival. They're coming home, and so we the National Carnival Committee is doing its best to make sure, the shows are put off. Well-attended person, the streets activity. Like I said, I'm responsible for streets activities, and this is not my first time, so I know what it's like. And I've been partaking in street activities, and I know it's not easy. Especially for Juve morning, you can't sleep.
Right.
So you gotta be on the ball for the morning, up and down, and then the Carnival Grand Parade again. That's another thing, and so and I have a committee in place that they're working. And I must commend them and give them thanks and high praise for being so supportive and cooperative, in spite of some hiccups here, there, and everywhere, because a lot of undecided things, and the Madam Chair still has to be in meetings with the relevant authorities to finalize things. Because even though it's our St. Nevis National Carnival Committee, we don't have the full authority to say we're going to go down that road.
Everybody got answer to somebody.
Exactly. So that is how it's going. So the committee. It's going good, and we're looking forward to really make our National Carnival Streets activities a well-organized and fun-filling event.
All right, man. Well, I know, like I said, that people are looking forward to it, and of course, after what you've said here this morning, I'm sure that excitement just gone up a notch. You're helping to deal with the tobacco.
Yeah, man.
the people out there have been grieving. Vince, I hate your voice, I tell you. I hate your voice. But soon.
Yeah.
Soon. even though you say some stress, I think it's stress that you're welcome.
No, what again? It's nothing strange or not new to me because I mean being in the field for a couple of years, I mean I've been in and out. So, I mean I can deal with it. So
all right, man. Well, we look forward to any updates and announcements, and we could look forward to that. Because you did mention that we're still trying to just tie down exactly what the Grand Parade route is gonna be.
Yeah.
But of course, after that announcement, the question was, well, but they changed the Juve route too, so we waited to hear what going on.
Well, that also was also mentioned because we have like 14 Juve troops registered. 14.
Wow.
14.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So I know in a meeting, Madam Chair had mentioned that we review that instead of just going around and sort of thing. And we had a meeting with high commands as well, and that also was taken into consideration in the reviewing of the route. But we have not finalized it yet. I threw out a proposed route and still been looking at would it be possible to have that. Yeah. It was mentioned to one or two persons, and they're asking, people have put in their suggestions. Persons are saying that why don't we go to the bypass road? But then we're looking at if we go to the bypass road, some of the vendors who have registered to be downtown would be getting a piece of the action. So we still have to keep it within the. But still try to extend it a little out.
I think recognizing that there is no an expected increase in participation, that there has to be some looking at what has traditionally been done. And I mean, hey, it's all about evolving. Nothing stays the same forever.
Exactly, that's
and
true.
Change could be good once it's done with the right reasons behind it. And trying to facilitate safety, the comfortability, and just even having it be just organized. Because with 14 troops running around 3 streets, I could see some potential problems there.
Yeah, we also take into consideration the security force because we don't want to
tax them to
and give them too much. Because when Juve come, I mean persons that'll be questioned. Before that, but when it comes Juve, they forget about that. Not to the religious fact, but they people. Juve is one at the morning, at the moment for Carnival for me that I've seen persons, and you see them from January up. But when Juve morning come, you say, but
that's the one. That's
that moment that people just want to enjoy themselves. And that's why we trying to make sure that persons have enough room to fully revel and wine and don't care what nobody say. That's you. That's you just enjoying yourself. So just go out and do what you have to do. Because after December, Juve Carnival done, you're back to your normal life, work, do whatever other duties you have to do. So when it comes to that moment, it just let loose. You understand? And so we are looking at, we want to give you enough playgrounds to be yourself during the carnival season. So until such time, we're gonna, I said the reviewing of the route has been in discussion, and I think when Madam Chair would finalize what is what, she would come to the airwaves and say, well, specifically, this is the route. It has been authorized to use it, and persons will know.
Well, I mean, we're looking forward to that, just like we're looking forward to the day itself. But again, thank you so much for taking time out to come and hang out with me right here on Island T. Just know that when I call in your name, it's all for the betterment. But appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much for coming. And you have a huge responsibility on your shoulder. Street activities, like I said, in my estimation, that is one of the defining things about Carnival. It kind of what makes Carnival.
Yeah.
And so good luck to you and your team as you guys continue to plan and get us ready to be to have one of the best carnivals ever. I think that is the aim.
Yeah, and thanks for having me, and it's been a pleasure that I can come to the airwaves and just say in general what we intend to do for the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival. And yes, as mentioned, responsible for streets activities, one of the major events of our National Carnival, and we are working tirelessly to make sure that this is a safe and frolic, funful, enjoyable moment of our national carnival. So thanks once again.
All right, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
All right, guys. There you have it, guys. It's been a day. We are past 10, so we're gonna wrap it up now. I gotta leave. I gotta go. I gotta disembark. Thank you guys for being a part of what it is we do here. Whether you joined me on Facebook, YouTube, Win Media, SKN, or any of the other digital media platforms, I just want to say thanks. If you're listening on your radio, big up. And if you're listening on somebody else's radio, well, hey, make sure you go shake their hand, tell them thanks for allowing you to partake in the tea this morning. Very important. Gratitude is a must, guys. But guys, we appreciate you so much. We appreciate you so much. The callers, of course, the guest this morning, Terrence Martin, and of course Vincent, for who would have joined us from the National Carnival Committee. Thank you so much for being a part of what it is that we do here. But alas, time is fast spent, and I must go. And before I go, I just want to leave you with these words, guys. Please, learn from the losses of others. We've spoken about some losses today, and we're hoping that you learn. We're hoping that you learn, guys. Be careful who you call friend. Be careful who you call friend. A friend ain't somebody who you talk to 4 times on IG. Ain't somebody who just go and like up all your pictures them on Facebook. They have the term friend when they say accept friend request, but it ain't so easy. Like, somebody doesn't become your friend by you clicking a button. All right. So please, operate with a sense of discernment. All right. And of course, guys, as usual, I just want you to remember to spend more time living your content, than posting it. And last but not least, and perhaps most importantly, remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. I am going to see you guys tomorrow.